Let's dive into one of the most incredible stories ever told, the story of Joseph. It's a powerful narrative about getting betrayed, facing unbelievable hardship, and somehow finding a profound purpose in the middle of all that suffering. So this is the big question we're going to tackle. Can the absolute worst thing that happens to you actually be a key part of the best plan for your life? As we follow Joseph's journey, you'll see how the deepest betrayals he faced were, believe it or not, woven into a plan so much bigger than he could have ever seen. Okay, so our story kicks off with Joseph as a young man, a dreamer. Now, he was his father's absolute favorite, but that favor, plus these prophetic dreams he kept having, didn't exactly make him popular with his brothers. In fact, it sparked this fire of jealousy that was about to burn his entire world down. To really get what's about to happen, you have to understand the family situation. This was way more than just sibling rivalry. We're talking about a deep, bitter resentment. Joseph being the favorite son, and then having these dreams that basically said he'd rule over them, well, to his older brothers, that just felt like unbearable arrogance. I mean, you can just feel the hatred here. They're mocking him, calling him the master of dreams, even as they're plotting to kill him, tossing him into a pit. It's a cold, brutal plan, and it's driven by nothing but pure envy. But instead of murder, they decide on something else, a different kind of cruelty. They sell their own brother into slavery. And to cover it all up, they fake his death, ripping up his special coat, dipping it in animal blood, and letting their father believe he's gone forever. This is the ultimate betrayal. And that act of betrayal just slams one chapter of his life shut and opens a new, much, much darker one. Joseph is dragged off to Egypt, stripped of his family, his freedom, everything. His life just spirals downward, from this peak of privilege to the absolute depth of slavery, and eventually a prison cell. Just look at this free fall. He goes from being this cherished son to literally being a piece of property. But even then, he works his way up through sheer integrity in his master's house, only to have that success ripped away by a false accusation. And where does he end up? A dungeon. Totally alone. Completely forgotten. And this is just the height of injustice, isn't it? Joseph does the right thing, he runs from temptation, he keeps his integrity, and his reward for that faithful response is a prison sentence. It's like every time he tries to do good, he gets punished for it. So you have to ask, how does anyone go through all of that without just drowning in bitterness? Well, it all boils down to his core character. No matter what happened, Joseph stayed faithful. He had this unwavering trust that there was a bigger plan at play, and he held on to a purpose that was way beyond his own suffering. That's what made him different. All right, so after years of this, here comes the turning point. That very same gift that first got him into trouble, his ability to interpret dreams, is about to become the key that unlocks his prison door and puts him face to face with the most powerful man in the world. The way this unfolds is just remarkable. It starts small, right there in prison. He helps out two of Pharaoh's officials by interpreting their dreams. One of them, the cupbearer, gets his job back, but then totally forgets about Joseph for 2 whole years. But when Pharaoh himself has these terrifying dreams that nobody can figure out, the cupbearer's memory is finally jogged and Joseph gets his shot. And check out his response here. When he's hauled in front of Pharaoh, he doesn't take any of the credit. Right away, he says, "This isn't me, this is from God." He sees his ability not as some magic power he has, but as a gift. That humility is just so central to who he is. And just like that, in a single day, his entire world flips. He goes from being a prisoner to being the prime minister of Egypt. Pharaoh puts him in charge of everything, making him the second most powerful man in the nation. The dreamer they threw in a pit is now, effectively, running the world. But hold on, the story is far from over. Because that famine Joseph predicted, it's here, and it's about to force the most dramatic family reunion you can imagine. His entire past is about to walk right up to his front door, and now he's the one holding all the cards. Yeah, this famine is hitting everyone hard, and it drives his family to the one place on earth that has food, Egypt. So his 10 older brothers make the long journey, and they have no idea, zero clue, that the powerful Egyptian governor they need to beg for food is the little brother they sold into slavery 20 years ago. Now, what Joseph does next is fascinating. He could have taken revenge, and who would blame him? But he doesn't. He keeps his identity a secret and basically becomes a prosecuting attorney. He designs this elaborate test to figure out one thing: have his brothers actually changed? And that makes it crystal clear. Joseph isn't after payback. He's looking for repentance. He has to know if their hearts are different now, because without that real, genuine change of heart, there's no way this family can ever be truly put back together. And all of this leads us right to the emotional peak of the whole saga. Joseph's test is about to force a final confrontation with the past, and what happens right here is going to decide the future for his entire family. The final test hits its climax, and one brother, Judah, the very one who suggested selling Joseph in the first place, he steps forward and he offers his own life to save his youngest brother, Benjamin. He shows this incredible self-sacrifice that was completely missing 20 years earlier. And in that moment, Joseph sees it. He sees the change. And that's it. The dam just breaks. The powerful, stern Egyptian governor disappears, and all that's left is a brother completely overcome by 2 decades of pain and relief and joy. He can't keep up the act anymore, and he just reveals who he is in a flood of tears. This right here, this is the thesis statement for the entire story. This is how Joseph sees everything that happened to him. He doesn't sugarcoat what they did. He looks right at them and says, "You meant this for evil." But in the very next breath, he reframes it all, saying God used their terrible act for an unbelievable good, saving countless lives, including their own. And that is what forgiveness makes possible. This broken, fractured family is finally made whole again. They're all brought to Egypt, settled in the best part of the land, Goshen. And their reunion isn't just some awkward truce. It's a true, deep restoration, all held together by grace. So we end up right back where we started with a question for you. Joseph's story really challenges us to look at the tough stuff, the hardships and betrayals in our own lives, and to wonder, could they be more than just random suffering? Could they be pieces of a much bigger, unseen plan for good? That is a profound thought to take with you.